Hello again everybody. In this video I'm going to show you how to use a word processor, which is a very fancy long-winded way of saying something you write things with, that you type out, letters, stories, diaries, whatever. Now when you buy a laptop or a computer and you have Windows on it, you will have paid for Windows. That will be part of the cost. Now Microsoft Office is a separate thing, and you pay for that again as well. Now there's nothing wrong with the software, it's good, it's very good, but it's not worth shelling out, I think it's something ridiculous now, 80 odd quid. It might be less in a sale, but even if it's 30 quid, there's a way to get it all for free, and it's not illegal at all. The way it works is Microsoft can't say that having this button here and this button looking like this and this working like this, they can't say that that's their idea. There's a lot of ideas that, you know, are open to everyone. Other people have had these ideas, like people who make pint glasses. If they went to another factory and went, you're doing the same as us, it wouldn't be anything dodgy or illegal. It's just tough. It's the way life is. I'm not a lawyer anyway, but that's the best way I can explain it. Right, for this I need to jump over to our virtual machine. Not because this is dangerous, just I had some trouble doing it on the Renew computer. Let me make this screen a bit bigger. There we go. I don't actually know if that made it bigger or if it just made the edges black, but either way it looks a little better. So, you've turned on your computer, you're on your desktop. Go to Chrome or Edge, whatever you use to browse the web. Double click. And what you want to search for is LibreOffice. That's spelled L-I-B-R-E. Office. There we are, I've already typed it out before. And then you want to come to download. Yeah, LibreOffice.org. Download. Okay, just click on that. And that will bring you to their web page. Scroll down. Make sure you've got Windows 64-bit selected. Unless, of course, you've got another kind of operating system, but yeah, this is all for Windows. Click on download. And here your download will begin automatically. If it doesn't, just click on this and that will make it happen. But I've never had to do that, touch wood. Usually this works really well. I'm not going to click it and download it now because I did it before I set this video up, and because it took a bit of time, because it's in a virtual machine. So once you've downloaded it, actually let me get that up. Once you've downloaded something, if you remember, they usually appear at the bottom telling you they're downloaded. But I cleared it, so let's go to our downloads. 3 dots, downloads. Here they are, there's LibreOffice. So I'm going to open that. This may take a moment because again it's in a virtual machine. If you've not heard me mention that before, it's like building a computer within a computer. If there's something I don't want to change on the Renew computer, or something that's risky, or I want to install stuff that's not really going to work well for Renew, well, the Renew hosts I should say, so I've done it in a separate machine that I can then get rid of when I'm done, and it's not going to affect anyone or anything else. A lot of it's automatic. You just click next, select typical install. Typical install gives you all of them, like the PDF viewers, the spreadsheet software, all of them. So yeah, I'd say typical. I mean, if you know you only want Word things, you'd go on custom, and then you, on the next screen, you'd select which ones you want. But since we're actually just doing word processing, I'm going to do that. No, actually, I think I'll skip this in case I confuse people. So yeah, select typical, next. Make sure this isn't ticked. It's not going to harm your computer, but you don't want every time your computer starts up, you don't want it to load all of your office stuff because you might not want it. But a shortcut on the desktop, that's something I'd do. So you click install, click next, and then you have to wait. It might take several minutes on a normal computer and not a virtual machine. This will be a lot quicker. Ooh, that's trying to download itself again. Again, that's because this is a bit slow to respond, but we'll get there. Oh, I didn't see that. It's requesting to make changes. Yes, that'll be why it couldn't do anything. If ever you're installing something and you see that little shield symbol pop up at the bottom, that means it's asking for permission to change things. Normally when that happens, it flashes up on the screen and that's all you can see, so it's nice and obvious. But sometimes, say by accident, you click away at the same time that sends you a message and you think, what happened to that? It'll probably be down here as a little shield symbol. And if you remember my trick from my other video, if you hold down Alt and press Tab, that goes through everything that you've got open. So if one of them is a shield thing or something important for installation, hold down Alt and press Tab, and when you're on the thing that you want, let's say Google, just let go of Alt and Tab and it will bring it up. I'm going to close this down actually. So that's actually doing it fairly quickly, especially for a virtual machine. Now I don't think many people are going to want to know how to build a virtual machine, but I never know what people are going to ask me. There could be some of you out there that want to start developing software or testing out certain cybersecurity things, or let's say you want to have a go at customizing your computer and editing things, but you're a bit worried if it goes wrong, or how do I get it back? What do I do if I can't remember how to get it back? If you have a virtual machine, like I could run a virus in this virtual machine and destroy it, but the host computer, as it's called, Renew's actual computer, would be fine because this is in its own little separate box. It may as well be another laptop, but you can just reset it and rebuild it as many times as you want. So yeah, I don't think many people are going to want to know, but if anyone needs to know, it is not simple, but doable. There's only a few things that you really need to know in case something doesn't quite work right, and it depends what you're going to be using it for. Say if someone was testing cybersecurity things, you'd have to set it up in a specific way to make sure that the host machine is safe. And now let's say if you were testing out some, I don't know, video editing software or something like that, you're going to want to give your virtual machine lots of power. This one is a bit weak, but I didn't want to clog up the host machine too much and risk that going slow as well, because that would affect this recording. Can hear them singing again. They're singing Ring of Fire if you can hear them. It's more interesting than watching this bar loading though. Right, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here. Oh, no I'm not. I think it might be nearly done. If you notice over here, our shortcut has appeared. What's it doing now? The fonts, so it should be the last little bit. Yeah, I think I'll just wait for this. If I pause it, I'll be unpausing it 30 seconds, a minute later, so not much point. It's just registering the product now. Yeah, these end bits are all the basic stuff. Now, for some reason, it's probably a very good reason, but I don't know it offhand. Once you've done this, it wants you to restart your computer. Now, you can pick an option where you say, I'll do it later, but sometimes if you do that, it won't sort of load properly, so I would do that. But for the sake of being quick... Oh, sorry, ignore this. I accidentally opened the installation thing twice. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, it didn't pop up, but there's usually a thing saying, do you want to restart now or later? It's up to you which way you do it. If you've got time, just click now. It doesn't take too long, but this is a virtual machine and it does, so I've skipped that. So once we've got LibreOffice and your shortcut, my only criticism is that is a naff picture, but hey ho, can't complain if it's free. You double click on that. Again, apologies for the virtual machine. I did actually try this on the host machine, but without going into it, it just wouldn't have it. Okay, so here we are, it's loading itself up now. I'll have to give it a moment. Again, for you, this isn't going to be taking this long. You probably would have already done a paragraph or two by now because, yeah, virtual machine. Here we go, lovely. This is what you're greeted with every time you open it. Now, I'm not going to go into every little thing because there's some database ones, some maths and slideshow ones and spreadsheets. But we'll just stick with a Word document, or a writer document as they've called it. And as you can see, the colour's even the same. So yeah, let's select that. Here we go. Now when you open Word or LibreOffice, it tries to give you tips. It'll be like tip of the day, you know. But I mean, you can keep it on if you want. A tip may come up that you don't know and I don't know and you'll find useful. And you can click next tip, but just click OK and get rid of that. Now, any of you that have used Microsoft Word before, this could be Microsoft Word. It is near enough identical. So what I'm showing you here will also apply in Microsoft Word. And if it doesn't, it's going to be very similar. Right. What shall we write? Why don't we start off by doing a letter. A letter. So in the top right of a letter, we usually have the address it's being sent to. So if you come up here, sorry I skipped that, and click on this one here, and it says align right, that means you're writing on this side of the page. Because if you've got it on the default one, which is this, where you write from left to right as normal, if you wanted to get this cursor all the way over there, you'd have to hit the spacebar a bunch of times. And that's fine if there's nothing behind it, but in fact I'll show you. So we're writing over here and that's not where we want to be on the other side. But let's say we do it the wrong way and just press spacebar a lot. It only goes so far, and then when you start typing, if it goes so far, it just puts it on the next line down, and it will affect the lines above it as well. It's yeah, not a good idea to do it. You'll very quickly be trying to make your letter look a lot neater, and you'll be scrambling to think, where did I put those space bars? You know, where did I do this? Where did I do that? So for a letter, the address at the top right, you would pick Align Right, and then it puts you over there. So now if we type, it goes that way instead of the other way and down onto the next line. So let's say we are Mr. Dude 123 Fake Street, some town somewhere. Okay, I mean, and then you could put their telephone number or whatever, but you're sending a letter to someone, so you're just going to need their name and address, you know, street name, town, city, and postcode. Let's put in a fake postcode, NG222. That's not our postcodes are laid out, but you get the idea. So there's the letter of who it's addressed to. Now we want to go back to normal, as in writing from this side. So if your cursor's here, you want to press enter, which takes you down to the next line. And now because we want to be back over here, we click on this one, Align Left. Now let's say you want sort of a title for your letter. Sometimes medical letters come with these sorts of things and they're bold and underlined. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's say we want a title, but first off, we don't want it this small. That's going to look really awkward and a bit weird. So let's go up here and change the font size. Let's try 20. See what that's like. It's a bit big, but we'll stick with that for the purposes of this. We're not making the neatest letter ever. Now let's say you wanted something bold and underlined. Before you start typing, click on B to make it bold and U to make it underlined. Now, on a Word document, to get a capital letter at the start of a sentence, you don't need to press caps lock and then the letter. What you can do instead, if you want to, is as you're typing, you you hold down Shift, which is the little up arrow above Control, and then you press the letter you want and capital. And so, oh, it's not bold and underlined anymore. Let's do that again. Bold, underlined, and let's make it a bit bigger. Now let's say this is very important medical stuff. Now the next line, that's right. And the next line down, you're not going to want that to be underlined. Well, for argument's sake, for the purposes of this, you're not going to want it to be underlined. So once you're done with things being bold and underlined, you just click on those again and it takes them off. So again, let's press enter and then enter again, I think. And I don't want the writing to be this big all the way through, but I don't want it to be that small, so I'm going to pick 15. And so now we'd put Dear Dr. Dude. Oh no, it's Dr. Dudette. Yeah, have a female in there. Right. So, Mr. Oh no, that's the address we're sending it to. Well, forget it. I'm not. You know, this isn't a class in how to write letters and what you put where. So, if we're being pedantic, we'd actually be putting this to Mr. Dude. Okay, dear whoever. Then you press enter again, and usually you'd put another line in between dear Mr., Mrs., whoever, and then what you're about to write. So, yeah, if you hold down Shift and press a letter, it becomes a capital letter. Enter makes you go down to the next line, and that is pretty much it for the basics. It's very intuitive. Now, let's say, because you're going to want paragraphs maybe to make it look a little neater. So what I do, you just, this time, in this instance, you can just press spacebar like 4 times, and then just start typing stuff, because I'm going to spell that wrong deliberately actually, because typing stuff is what we are doing. Yep, just any old nonsense I'm putting in. And then if you were to just pretend those are words, if you keep typing, it does go into the next line, and as you can see, it starts all the way back at the left, so you've effectively got a paragraph there. And it's the same for numbers. Let's say if you were numbering your paragraphs, you can just press 1 and type in the numbers. You don't have to do anything different. Yeah, and so that's how you type and create a paragraph. I'm trying to think what else now. Yes, spell check. Something that I struggle with. Certain words are just nope. Alright, mate. Not bad, are you? Yeah, they have an inbuilt spell check, but it also does grammar as well. Now, if it's underlined in red, it's a spelling mistake. If it's underlined in green or blue, I forget, that's a mistake in grammar. But you don't have. It doesn't just tell you that you're wrong and then you've got to figure it out. No, not at all. Oh, where is it up here? It's one of these many symbols. Oh, let's try tools. Maybe it's in there. There we are, spelling. First one. And what it will do, it will go through everything that you've typed and every single mistake. You'll go through one by one by one and start. See, I wanted to put typing there, not puttying, but I spelt it that bad. Yeah, I spelt it that bad that he thinks I was trying to put puttying. I think I've actually spelt too badly, and now you're. Yeah, now it doesn't know what I want at all. So let's do an easy one. Let's put an extra T in statement. That'll work surely, because a statement doesn't exist. So let's go up to tools. Click on spelling. Okay, here we are again. And as you see here, this is the mistake that you made, and these are the suggestions. Okay, so you select the one that you actually wanted, and then you'd press correct. Now, if it's something that you misspell all the time, and you've misspelt it loads in the same document, you can press correct all. Say if you always put 2 L's in a word that's got 1, you could put correct all. If it's something that is a place name or a surname that's not in the dictionary, you can put ignore once or ignore all. You can add it to the dictionary, but I wouldn't bother. So yeah, we want to change statement to statement. Let's click on correct. Continue checking at the beginning of document. I thought I was. Just click yes. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's trying to go back and tell me all this other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to ignore that. And it's got no suggestions, so I'm going to ignore that. And then once you've gone through every bit of checking, it will tell you that it's complete. So there, we know how to write an address in the top right, make things bold and underlined, change the size of the font, have a paragraph, spell check and grammar check. And so yeah, let's say we've wrote our letter and we've put yours, I don't know, yours is a bit impersonal, kind regards. Then our name, whoever we are, our name, and then at the bottom, if you want your address, you can put that on there. Let's just put address in big capital letters. And so yeah, there's our letter. Let's say we're happy with it, we like it, we want to save it. So if you come to this little disk here and click on that, it will open up File Explorer and it'll ask you where you want to save it. Now you could save it in documents, you might have a folder on your desktop, It's up to you. I'm going to put it in documents because, well, that just makes sense. Click on save. And now if you want to come back to this and edit it or add something to it, it's saved on our computer. And apart from that, the next thing you'll be wanting to do most likely is to print it. Now if you've not got a printer connected to your machine, which a lot of people don't these days, this is going to be pointless. And there's no printer connected to this one, so I can't actually show you what happens. But if you press print, it will ask you, is this the printer you want to use? And a couple of other questions. This hasn't actually got a printer connected, it just sort of thinks it does. And it will bring it, oh actually, if it thinks it does, I can bring it up. Of course. So this would be what would happen. It looks a bit daunting. It will select the printer automatically. If it doesn't select your printer, click on the arrow and find it. All pages or just some of them. So yeah, you're probably going to want all pages. Keep the layout the same. Don't change anything. You just have to click on print and that's it. But that won't work on this because one isn't connected. And now in one of my previous videos with emails, I've shown you how to send attachments. So let's come out of this. Now when you close the program down, if you've not saved your work, then it will ask, do you want to save your work before you exit? And I will click yes, because that first time you press save, that just does it for that one time. If you were to then add stuff in, you're going to want to hit save yourself to make sure that it's been saved regular, because if the computer or the software crash and you've not saved your work for 2 hours, let's say, then that's 2 hours work down the drain, nothing you can do. So let's add something new into this, just so it recognises that we've changed something. And then you'd click on that icon again, but this time File Explorer won't appear because you've already chose where to put it. It will update that file that's in Documents or wherever it is. And that is the very basics of it. That's how to change the size of the writing, have it bold or underlined. I, by the way, is to have things in italic. We know how to write on the right side and the left side, how to get a paragraph, how to save it, how to print it. Oh, one more thing I did forget. Here, next to the size of the font, you can select the style. So if you click on that drop down arrow, it shows you, and it's written in an example, like the name of it is written in that font. So let's go for Gothic. Just looks a little bit different. Some people writing a letter, they like certain fonts for certain parts of the letter. It makes something stand out or makes it obvious that something that is being said is separate from something else. But to be honest, I personally find it a little bit messy and a little bit unprofessional to see, like, say we've got this nice font laid out here and then it just changes. But that's up to you. It's completely up to you, because you might be taking notes with it or having a diary, and different fonts, might be different things. And here you can, I think, select the colour. Is it that? No, it's not. Ignore me. There is a bit placed somewhere. Font colour. Well, it's not dark red. Why don't we look at tools, see if it's in there. Not too. Oh, speaking of, there is a thesaurus in there, so if you're a bit of a story writer, that might be useful to you. I'm not too sure where you can change colour, but you can somewhere. There is just, as you can see, a lot of things in here, and it has been quite a while since I've used one. When you look at all these, it is very, very daunting, but that is just because this program can do so much. But most people only need it to do the basics like this, and I would imagine that everyone watching this is just going to need to know the basics. And so that's it. Let's come out of LibreOffice, and there it is. Do you want to save? You've made changes but you've not saved, so we want to save that. And that's it. That is all there is to it. So free software, how to use the word processor, and all the other things like the spreadsheets and so on and so forth, because they're laid out the same as the Microsoft Office. If you want to watch a video how to use it, you could look at Microsoft Office. But they have videos as well on how to use LibreOffice, so that's probably the better thing to do. And so yeah, I'll leave it there, guys, and I hope you find this one useful, because I know a lot of people want this one.